There are some thoughts. You don't let yourself finish. You interrupt them. You move past them. You distract yourself before they fully land. To be honest, I have done this more times than I realized. Welcome to Lead Your Path, a podcast about inner side of leadership. I'm your host Swagata Palharia, and here we explore the mindset shifts that shape how we perform, grow, and lead. There were phases where everything looked fine. Work was moving, things were stable, nothing was visibly wrong. But every once in a while, a thought would come up, a simple one. Why does this feel heavier than it should? And almost immediately, I would move on, pick up my phone, open something, get back to work. Not because I didn't have time, but because I didn't want to stay with that question. And if you notice closely, you might be doing that too. Not with big dramatic questions, but with small quiet ones. The ones that show up for a second and disappear just as quickly. Because the truth is, you're not avoiding these conversations because you don't have answers. You are avoiding them because you might already know what the answer is. And some of those answers might require something to change. So instead, you stay in motion. You focus on what needs to get done, what's next, what's pending. Because staying busy makes it easier than pausing long enough to listen what you have been avoiding. Because these conversations are not just uncomfortable, they are disruptive. They question your choices, your directions, sometimes even your identity. And it keeps easier to keep going than to sit with something that might shift everything. But avoiding them doesn't make them go away. It just makes them quieter. And over time, that quiet shows up as low energy, lack of clarity, or a constant feeling that something is slightly off. Even when everything looks on track, maybe you don't need to solve it right now. Maybe you just need to let the question stay a little longer than you usually do. Because the conversations you avoid with yourself don't disappear. They wait. They come back in small moments, in pauses, in things that don't feel as fulfilling as they used to. Until one day, you can't move past them as easily. And maybe that's not the problem. Maybe that's the point. Because leadership isn't just about having clarity, it's about being willing to sit with what you already know, but keep pushing away because it's inconvenient, uncomfortable, or even ask more of you than you feel ready for. Until next time, this is Lead Your Path.